All right, y'all. Now, they done told us for so many years that Trump was a threat to democracy. But now the evidence is piling up, y'all. And it turns out that the so called defenders of democracy have staged the most coordinated attack on a sitting president in modern history. Okay. We talking about ballots, y'all. We're talking about 93 indictments. We're talking about FBI raids. And guess whose fingerprints are all over that? Yeah, boy, Obama, Clinton, and all their allies. And see, this is the thing that the media is trying to not talk about. Y'all see what they trying to blast, you know what I'm saying, on the media? Baby. We gonna stick straight to this because like they stated and they all said, no one is above the law, right? Well, with that being said, y'all, this is Queen Bee's Daily News where we gonna drag them lies out. We're gonna dive into the first video. It's coming straight from Pramsey now on X if y'all would like to follow her. Let's dive into this video. And then we're going to chop it up in the comment section. Let's go.
No one has ever tried to remove a major party candidate from the ballot. 25 states tried to remove Donald Trump. No one has ever raided an ex-president's home. And they took out 14,000 documents, and they found 102 that were classified,
Wow.
0.001 or something. And Joe Biden had the same exposure. No one has ever been, no ex-president and leading presidential nominee has ever had 93 criminal indictments. Now we know that Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, Jack Smith coordinated with the White House. Nathan Wade was in the White House the same day that Jack Smith was appointed, the same day that Michael Colangelo, third in the DOJ, went to work for Alvin Bragg. So we've never seen any of this. We've never had a president who was impeached twice, tried as a private citizen. And so what do you do about it? And do you bring it back up, or do you just say, well, that was an aberration? But if you're disinterested and analytical and empirical, it was much worse than Watergate. Mm-hmm. You had the FBI and the CIA and the Director of National Intelligence coordinating with Hillary Clinton to destroy a campaign. And then when he was president, those same actors reemerged to further that narrative and get Robert Mueller, who knew there was no collusion, to spend 22 months and $40 million to find nothing, no culpability, and basically ruined the first 2 years of the Trump administration. And so there we are. And I think everybody's torn. What do you do about it? It's so huge and gargantuan. If you came from Mars and just said, oh my God, this was a coup.
Right.
But yet to dig all this up and go through it, everybody said, oh my God, I don't want to go through.
And these are straight facts, y'all, because let's just be clear. If this was something Biden had did and stuff like that, do y'all think they would really be out here? And this is the thing. They believe in covering up things. We're not going to let this slide. Y'all didn't let it slide with Trump. We're not letting it slide with y'all. As soon as Trump do something, there's crickets. Where are they at, y'all? Why they not speaking about this? Why this Berry Party not speaking about this? You want to know why? Guilty. This is what they do. They be having big mouths, loud mouths, want to say everything, but when it points the finger back at them, ain't nobody here to be found. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it at all. So we're going to dive into the next clip coming straight from Thomas Sowell quotes, y'all. Thomas Sowell on X if you like to follow this person. Sean Hannity. One thing is crystal clear. Barack Obama was a terrible president. Let's get into it.
One thing is crystal clear. Barack Obama was a terrible president, and he abused his power. He fomented a culture of pious corruption inside the halls of our federal bureaucracy. To this day, I can all but assure you that the former deep state actors who carried out this plot to delegitimize a duly elected president, Donald Trump, still believe they did nothing wrong. They didn't care at all about the will of all of you, the American people. They believed their opinions mattered much more, and this information clearly is suggesting that they were willing to lie, manipulate, undermine a duly elected president. To them, using the almighty power of the U.S. government to subvert the will of the American people is what justified, because in their hearts, they truly believe they know better than all of us. And for the past decade, that was the real threat to our democracy. In fact, the biggest this country has faced in some time. This makes Watergate, frankly, look like a jaywalking violation. Here with more.
And let me just say this, y'all. Obama left with a 59% approval rating. Let that sink in. The media still idolizes him while glossifying his evidence of being, the interference and things like that. Another thing is they straight took advantage of the people, y'all. Slapped us in the face, told us to shut up, censored when the ones with the common sense who actually knew something was up and knew something was fishy, guess what they did? When we was trying to get the truth and stuff out, you censored, you get striked, all of the above. You cannot speak on the realness of what's going on, the truth, because they were so busy trying to push those lies out there. And that's a real reason why some of these people who are not into politics or even paying attention is being brainwashed by the very fake news that they're putting out there. That's why it's good to get out there and research, find this information out for yourself, just so that you would have the knowledge. Because if you sit here and just really witness and see what is actually being played before our eyes, you would think twice, and you would know how to vote when you go in and vote. People got to stop voting on feelings. Let's get into the next clip, y'all. This is crazy. Coming straight from Nick Sorto on X. If y'all would like to follow this person, breaking CIA Director Ratcliffe confirmed more evidence. And we know, and pay attention to who is coming out and speaking, okay? Because every last person that's coming out speaking right now played a part in this whole Obama situation. So you got to pay attention. Al Sharpton and all of the above, y'all. So many are coming out speaking on this and saying, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't do this." Oh yeah, we can. Because when we were screaming, "You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do that," they didn't care, did they? No. Let's get into the clip, y'all. They better miss us with that. Let's get into it.
Referrals to the DOJ.
Well, Maria, so part of what came out last week was about how John Brennan, Clapper, Comey, they all pushed the known fake Steele dossier into intelligence community assessments and as the basis for Crossfire Hurricane and all that. But what hasn't come out yet, and what's going to come out, is the underlying intelligence that I have spent the last few months making recommendations about final declassification and sent that to the Department of Justice that will come out in the John Durham report classified annex. And what that intelligence shows, Maria, is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier, to those fake Russia collusion claims by pouring oil on the fire, by amplifying the lie and burying the truth of what was what Hillary Clinton was up to. And you're right, Maria. John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is, frankly, completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham Annex, what that reflects. And so, Pam Bondi does have a strike force. It is a different Department of Justice, a different FBI, and an opportunity to look at how these people really did conspire to run a hoax, a fraud on the American people and against Donald Trump's presidency. And so coming forward, we understand that they did this, but now we need to understand how they did this. And I think that's why you see the left losing their minds over this, Maria, saying, why are you spending time? This is vindictive. You're going back. This is Donald Trump, seeking retribution. It's not. Donald Trump's election by the American people was a statement, Maria. They said to everyone, we know what you did to Donald Trump, and we reelected him because we know this was all fake. We know it was a hoax. Now we want to understand how you did it so that it can't happen again. And that's what this declassification process that we're undergoing right now, what's going on, why it's so important, and why there can be accountability and preventability to prevent these same people that did it in 2016 with the Steele dossier, with the Hunter Biden laptop in 2020 from doing it again in the future.
So what I think I hear you saying is there is still an opportunity for
facts, man. Yeah, we're not gonna let them slide no more. How far has cheating really got these folks? What you do in the dark will come out to light. Do y'all not know that? Like, y'all sat here and did that. And the crazy thing is, They already knew, regardless of who was running, who was going to win. It was already, like, you put everything together, it was already planned. They already knew this. It was already a setup. It was already a plan. And the very people, MAGA and everybody else, they were like, something ain't right. Yeah, this don't look right. Y'all were right once again. Do y'all know how much money y'all be making right now for all the times y'all knew already before everybody else knew? Y'all be living it up right now, especially with all this money that they paying out to all these other different places. Thank God Trump is bringing all the money right back home. Seriously. We'd be rich right now. We can take our own tax dollars and spend it how we want to spend it. All this money that's been wasted. Baby, I'd be living it up right now. These folks is living off our backs. Which brings me to the last clip, y'all, coming straight from Brian Donalds himself on his page. Y'all, research. Research for understanding. Research to get the knowledge. It is out there. It is free. And I don't even care what side you go on. As long as you know in your heart, you know what's going on, you paying attention and stuff like that. You're not just tuning into the fake news and all of the above. Y'all, there's so much out there. And this is the thing. See, I'm old school. We didn't have AI and all these other type of things that y'all have today. Hell, we didn't even have phones really back then. We had pages and stuff. So y'all got an advantage to find out these things, the truth, easily than what we had growing up. Seriously, it's out there. Wake up. Do not continue to let these people keep fooling y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, kicking it with your girl. Y'all, hopefully y'all can hear me good. I'm on family vacation, so the scenery's a little different. I'm not at home, but I'm still, going to push these videos out. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. And let's go ahead and dive into the last video, y'all.
Course, but after years and years of nonstop coverage of this Russiagate story, we get the biggest update to the story that we've seen since the end of the Mueller probe. And wouldn't you know it, there is almost no coverage of it whatsoever. I mean, look at ABC and NBC not even touching that story after endlessly talking about it when the news went one direction.
All the fake news ain't talking about it. Interesting.
I mean, look, this is really why the major news networks, I can't even really call them major anymore because they've been losing viewership consistently in large numbers. But this is why they have no credibility. And it's because when real information comes forward, they refuse to cover it. They choose to cover up. And they demonstrate that they're really just apparatchiks for the Democrat Party as opposed to doing their jobs, which is to actually provide information to the American people. But that being said, what we know now from the documents that have been released by DNI Gabbard is that the entire move in the intelligence community was directed by then President Barack Obama. And that is not the way this is supposed to work. You can't create out of thin air fake evidence to push an intelligence narrative to undermine the person who's going to be your successor in public office. We've never seen anything like this before.